Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the first video in this trading robot review series. Today we are going to be reviewing the cheapest robot on the list. The list is publicly available in the description if you want to follow along. But today we are going to be reviewing the Oberon iMA, which is the top one on the cheapest 100 list. But as you can see, there's a lot of robots on this list with a price tag of $30, and that is because the minimum amount that MQL5 will let you post a robot for is $30. So you can see the first 66 robots is actually $30. But there's nothing we can do about that. That's just the minimum price that they will allow you to post a robot for. So let's get into this review and head over to the MQL5 market and search for Oberon iMA. And here we have the product page on the MQL5 market. And as you can see, it has a 5-star rating, but there's only one review. So I mean, that's not super telling. We can see that it was published on the 12th of September 2022, so that's a little more than a year ago. And we can see that it was last updated on the 29th of October, so it's been almost a year since the robot was last updated, which I guess is not a super good sign, but it's not a particularly bad one either. We can see that the robot was made by a Alexander Chuprina. Yeah, I probably butchered that name, but yeah, we can see that it consists of 15 separate blocks, mini expert advisors. I assume that this means that this trading robot can trade on up to 15 different markets at the same time, while only being added on one chart in the platform. We'll have to see about that in a second when I get into testing the robot, but I assume that's what it means. And it says nothing about any specific markets, so I assume that this robot can actually trade all markets, which is nice. I don't see any live signals here, so we are just gonna have to do all of the testing ourselves. We do have a set file here, which is nice. For those of you who don't know what set files are, it's basically a file where you can import specific settings for a trading robot. So in this case, the author of the trading robot has provided us with some default settings that we can use for the trading robot, which is always nice. Love to see that. We have an optimization example which links to a blog post. I don't think I'm going to be reading that unless it's necessary. Hopefully it's not necessary. Then we have some frequently asked questions, which I guess is nice for the average beginner. Then we have the screenshots. We have a screenshot here showing that he took a $200 account and made a profit of $300,000 in 1 year with a maximum drawdown of 30%. Now, if this is true, this would make it one of the best trading robots in the world for sure. But yeah, let's see about that. let's see what else we have here. We have a GIF of some backtesting results. You can see all of the trading going on up here in the Euro USD, I think it is, or the yeah, it's in the Euro USD. Um, what I'm gathering from this little GIF here is that we have no stop loss going on whatsoever. Uh, So yeah, that's a little bit concerning, which could mean that it is some kind of grid strategy using different symbols to try and minimize drawdowns. But yeah, again, we'll see about that when we get into the testing. Um, and yeah, then we have a slower GIF as well, just of some more trading. Okay, so we don't have any video tutorial, and yeah, I think that was just it for the product page. Okay, so for the marketing score, I would actually give it the highest score possible on my list because there's no over saturated marketing um, other than this backtest result, but I'll get into that in the pictures rating. So yeah, the marketing is, just very, there's not really any marketing going on, which I like personally because I think the expert advisors should speak for themselves, the performance and your description should speak for itself. You shouldn't really have to market your product that much. I think in this case, the product have to speak for itself. So yeah, that's a zero point 0.5 right there. The pictures rating, though, um, is not going to be that great because this picture right here is completely unrealistic. There's no way in hell that this is happening. And also there's just not really a lot of pictures. He only has one backtest picture, which is just completely out of this world. And then there's just a GIF. I actually like this GIF. It's kind of a nice one. It's nice to look at. You see how the um, robot is trading. You see the equity curve and whatnot. This one is just like more of the same. It's just slowed down. So I mean, I don't really think we need this GIF. And then yeah, there's just not any more pictures. There's no video tutorial, anything like that. So I think it's gonna be like a 2.5 from me. Okay, so after having read through the entire description, I actually like it quite a bit. It's nicely formulated. It's punctuated and it has a set file. Uh, only has one review though, and there's no live signals. Um, it does not specify exactly the fact that there's no stop loss being used. So, I mean, it could definitely be better, but I think this description is pretty okay overall for a trading robot. So I think I'll give it like a 3.5 out of 5. Okay, so let's head into the input settings here. Let's see, we have some pretty basic settings up here. Then we have a bunch of basic settings for the indicators, I guess, and yeah, so these are just the same settings for all the different types of symbols that we can trade at the same time. Um, okay, so this is a bit of an odd way of of doing this, but I guess it's kind of nice in a way because then you can actually have different settings for every symbol that you're trading. So I would say this is fairly clean actually, considering that we are trading 15 different symbols at the same time. But let's just go ahead and open up that set file that he had made available on the product page. So what we do is we just download this and then we head over to our trading platform again and then we say load and then we go to our downloads and we take the set file here and boom. Now we have imported the set file and yeah, let's try and just run it. So this might take a second, it might take a while because I need to download all the data for these symbols and also have no idea how well this is optimized. So we're gonna see. I'll be right back. Overall, I actually do like the input settings. Um, they're quite easy to understand, like even for a beginner, especially if you consider that he actually has a list of what the input parameters does here in the description. And I like the fact that he split the symbols up so that you can customize the settings for each symbol because that adds a lot of customizability and it just yeah it's kind of nice if you know what you're doing, but it is also a lot of input settings to scroll through, and it might be a little overwhelming for a beginner. Um, so yeah, I think I'll give it like a 4 out of 5. Okay, so I am back. Goodness gracious, that took a while. As you can see, that just took 10 minutes to do a full test of this trading robot over the last 2 years. So that is definitely way longer than anything I've ever tested before, I think. So yeah, that's not gonna give this robot a very good testing score for sure because it's really nice that you have all of these input settings, right? But it's gonna get quite annoying to test uh, if you have to wait 10 minutes for every test. So after having tested the strategy a little more, the average testing time was about 2 minutes per test, which is a lot better than the first test, which took 10 minutes. But I guess that was just because I didn't have the data for a lot of the symbols, which was being tested, so that probably added a lot to the timer. But 2 minutes is still quite a long time for one test. Um, Relative to most strategies I've tested, it's taken about 20 to 30 seconds per test. So this is definitely still quite a bit above that. So the testing part, I will have to give a 2 out of 5, I think. Let's take a look at the results here on the graph. Okay, so uh, what we see is a very nice steady curve going upwards. And then we just see a massive drawdown here. Um, yeah, this is what happens when you don't have a stop loss. You can see it's going great for almost 2 years here, and then you just see this massive drawdown. But I mean, it did recover, so I guess we didn't blow up the account, but would certainly have been quite nerve-wracking to sit through that. That's like a almost 50% drawdown right there. So yeah, that's a bit rough. But overall, we can see that we started with 10,000 and we made a total profit of 2,366 with the default settings. So that's 23.66% profit, which is not, I mean, it's not great, but it's not like terrible either. So I mean, I think that's like 23% over 2 years. It's fairly average, comparing it to index investing or something. Like, I mean, yeah, it's okay, but um, considering our equity drawdown of 47%, I would definitely say that 23% profit is nowhere near good enough to make up for such a huge drawdown. So yeah, that's not gonna bode well for the performance score here. We do see a win rate of 88%. So yeah, guys, here you see a very good example of win rate just not mattering at all. It's like doesn't matter if you win 88% of the time if you're just gonna lose it all on one trade, right? So yeah, Sharp ratio, recovery factor just looking absolutely abysmal because of this huge drawdown. Yeah, overall, definitely not a great look for this trading robot. But hey, I mean, it did recover at least. That's something. So while the net profit of 23.66% is not exactly terrible, um, the rest of the stats are just simply terrible. um, and I guess the one saving grace is that it did recover after this 47% drawdown. But yeah, this is not something I want to see if I'm using a trading robot. It's just not. So I think I'll give it a performance score of 2.5 out of 10. I would probably have given it a 1, but since it actually does have a net profit and because it actually did manage to recover from that large drawdown, I think I'll give it a 2.5 out of 10. Okay, so here we have the final scores. A 0.5 in marketing, a 2.5 in pictures and videos, a 3.5 in description, a 4 in input overview and setup, a 2 in testing, and a 2.5 in performance, giving it a total review score of 15. So I guess that's not super great, but could definitely have been worse too. So yeah, I hope you liked this first review video. I know that there's definitely a lot of things that I can improve on. Feel free to give me constructive criticism in the comments section below. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Also, please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and remember to check out the list in the description if you want to see all of the trading robots on the list and the ones I've reviewed so far. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.